They were starting to move in all the cabinetry. I was up at school for a little bit, so they're starting to move all the cabinetry. I don't know if they started placing the cabinetry and putting it up yet today, but they were starting to move all the cabinetry in the classrooms today. Everything out in the vocational center has been painted. They're still working on some duct work and the drop ceilings. And then last week we were able to get our, well actually the week before we got our new, or our sound-proof insulation that we've been waiting for on the theater. We were able to get that in, and then all last week they worked on putting the roof on the high roof on the Performing Arts. So we were much closer to be able to get inside that building and start actually doing stuff. But we're moving along rapidly. And on the outside of the building, if you drive by the vocational center and some of the science classrooms, all the sidings, the metal sidings going on, it looks very nice. It looks decorative. It doesn't look like what I would consider metal barn siding.
Right.
I mean, it looks very nice. It's going to look very professional, and so we're moving along nicely on the project. We're obviously still not going to be in it before the end of school, but we might be able to start moving some objects and getting some of our stuff in there and being ready to go. I think we'll be ready for all classrooms by the start of next school year. Just probably not the performing arts, and maybe at the very beginning the wrestling room, which we won't need until mid to late October anyway. So, anyways, yeah. But things are moving along well.
Dr. Robinson was able to give 2 tours recently, one to the economic development team and one to the Rotary, and I think the community is.
Yeah, I think we had a good
impressed,
response from
so.
both out of those tours, so it worked out well. Yeah.
Any other questions? Esports.
Yeah, Chris, I'd like. It's kind of one of our new sports. If you want to come over to the podium there, that way Jimmy can film you and make you a Facebook legend. So.
I just came in from the track, so I'm all kind of.
Oh, you're fine. So.
So this semester, Mr. Jones and Mr. Robinson asked me to start, or Dr. Robinson asked me to start an esports team with at Cameron High School. We had a really successful first season. We started off with one game, was called Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I'm sure if you have high schoolers and middle schoolers, they've played it. And what the format was called is Smash Cruise. It was like a 5-on-5 battle, where it allowed us to have teams and do a sport that's normally like one-on-one as a group. And we went 4-4 for our first season, which is really good because we were playing. I think we were the only group in our region that was our first year. The other teams had all done it last year. We played Lathrop and Plattsburgh and Blue Springs and Blue Springs South and Smith Cotton and Lamont was the other school. And it, like I said, went really well. We made it to the first round of the playoffs, lost a close one to Plattsburgh, but it's their second or third season with MOSA. And the organization that runs our league is MOSA. It's Missouri Sports, Esports Federation. And it's ran by educators and 4 school districts. And it's got about 120 members right now. So I had 20 kids finish the season. I started off with 24 and then we lost 4 because of other obligations. And that was enough for us to field a varsity and 2 JVs. And we were one of like 6 schools that were able to have that many kids and have that much interest. And we were one of the only schools at the end of the season we were still able to support 2 JV squads. And next season, it's going to be fall, and we're going to do 2 games. We're going to do Overwatch and Rocket League, and we will be doing those out of my lab. And Rocket League is a like soccer with cars, and then Overwatch is like superhero type squad battles.
I suck at it.
Well, feel free to stop by, and we can show the kids how to play, because probably all the kids are better at it. And that's pretty much in a nutshell what it consists of. Do you guys have any questions or?
Just a comment, Mr. Eckert. One thing, I know David has enjoyed doing it. All these years of watching him do games, who knew it would come to? But I also am aware that there are some students that are involved in it. This is an area where they've really been successful, and that may, you know,
Yes.
I'm aware that they've had struggles and other things, and I think it's just great, so.
Yeah, the kids who
Congratulations.
participated really enjoyed it. And we had a really great team and a group of kids. Like, they were very supportive of each other. They cheered each other on. They helped each other out. They would have, we would have practice like 3 times a week, and they would even go on a 4th night to one of their houses and practice and give each other tips. And
Any thumb injuries?
no thumb injuries, and luckily no injuries at all. No gamer thumbs with the, we don't have the cross pads anymore. I tell them about the old days and they're like, oh, that sounds awful. Yeah, like I said, we had a great set. It's, one of the challenges is that it's a sport. It would be like playing baseball or football with people who knew the game better than you because they played Smash Brothers a lot. I have played it, but I don't play it to the level they do. And so they would be like, oh, this is what we need to do here. I'm like, okay, yeah, you should listen to that guy. Because he knows what he's talking about. I know basics, but yeah, you should listen to that student. So it's kind of a very collaborative effort too. And I think the kids really enjoyed that too.
Thank you for taking that on.
Oh, no problem.
And there's college majors now, aren't there?
Yes, in fact, Mo West is just starting an esports management degree. And there's scholarships from Northwest, Mo West, a lot of the private schools. And I direct the kids to all those opportunities to do this at the next level and get a scholarship for. We actually had a former Cameron graduate get a scholarship from Central Methodist before we even started this a couple years ago, playing Fortnite, I believe. So, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
I was like,
We have a client that works in, designs games, it's fascinating. I mean, there's all kinds of careers that they can
yes.
touch and that they could go and pursue.
And along with the scholarships, all the colleges, when I went to FBLA at Mo West, they have their esports team. That's their varsity team. We're really good at it. But there's also a club or just a community that they help culture there. They have their commons, their union. They have a esports commons where people can come in and play video games and interact with each other and hold intramurals and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Mr. Jones, Career Center update, please.
So my recruits had other obligations. I had a couple students lined up to come talk to you and kind of tell you their experiences at the Hilliard Technical Center. But some updates there. Last Tuesday, whenever the 13th was, we had 3 students sign. They had an actual signing for their apprenticeship. We had 3 students accepted into the newest apprenticeship program that Hilliard Technical Center started 4 years ago. So we had 2 students that will be spending the majority of their school day over at Gray Manufacturing. They'll be doing some welding and stuff for Gray Manufacturing. So what their schedule is going to look like next year is they'll take 2 classes at Cameron High School, and then they will leave and they will go over to Gray Manufacturing and they will work there the rest of the day. So they're going to get paid while they're going to school. And then we have a student that actually is going to work with Team Tools here in Cameron with Curtis Chastain? So we have a student doing that. And then 1 day a week, they haven't decided which day that will be, but those 3 students will go over to Hilliard Technical Center and they'll meet with their apprentice mentor and kind of talk about professionalism, job training and things like that, resume writing and stuff. So they're gonna get some extra support there. So early in the spring, we took 40 sophomores over to Hilliard for them to do the tour that were interested in going to Hilliard next year. So they got to see all the programs that they have to offer at Hilliard, and I don't know what percentage they were, but they were filling applications out before we even left. So I think that the students were excited to see some of the programs that they have over at Hilliard's, the facilities that they have at that place. So right now, we have 28 students that have been accepted into a technical program next year, and we have 8 returning students. So we're gonna have about 36 students going over to Hilliard Technical Center next year, which is the most that we've had in quite a while. So, and I don't wanna bore you with the breakdown, but just some of the programs that our students have been accepted into. We have 2 students that are going into HVAC, 7 that are going into welding technology, 3 in auto service, 2 in carpentry, 6 in health services, so they'll come out with a CNA, 1 precision machining, which is like the most high demand area that they have over there. They just can't get kids interested in doing that. 2 electronics technology, 3 collision repair, and 1 computer service technology. So those are where our students will be working in those areas next year when they go to Hilliard. I will say too, I mean, this is hats off to the students that we have going over there, but we've had absolutely 0 discipline issues on the bus over, on the bus back, while they're over there. So they've done an excellent job of representing Cameron over at Hilliard. And we're excited with the opportunities that those students are gonna have to go over there. Hoping that, they'll be interested in that apprenticeship program, because I feel like that is the separation between Hilliard and the Grand River Tech that we went to before. They just didn't offer that, and the opportunities that our kids will have over there, I think are great.
Mr. Jones, did I understand that they may have some education programs coming out?
They do. They have a teacher preparatory program over there. I mean, it's new. I don't know a lot about it. They're trying to encourage students to go in there, especially if they're interested in education, but we didn't have any students that were interested in that program.
I appreciate, I know you guys went and looked at that a year and a half ago or so, and I appreciate the due diligence you did and looking out for our students and deciding to make that move and elevating that program, so. Are we limited to a certain number that we can send? Will they do it?
I don't believe so. I mean, we might if we tried to send 60 kids.
Sure.
But,
Well, and it's highly competitive over there,
Yeah.
because they have like 14 or 15 sending schools at the same session that we go to. So students have to apply, and they have to write essays as to why they went into the program, so it's pretty competitive. So just because you signed up doesn't necessarily mean you get to go. You may definitely not get your first choice, but they'll have like alternative choices. And we still have 8 kids on the waiting list. So I guess we could have a potential about 40 kids going over there.
So they do this their junior year?
Yeah, they can begin their junior year.
So they can do it their junior and their
Yeah.
senior year?
So most of the programs are 2-year programs. They're like EMT, they can do just their senior year, it's a 1-year program. There might be one other one that's a 1 year, but most of them are 2-year programs.
Anything else? Thank you. All right, our administrative reports, Dr. Mefford.
We start state assessments next week, so our school counselors have been busy preparing for that, so somewhat looking forward to that. I know Ms. Crawford has been busy in putting accommodations for our students, and so that takes a lot of behind the scenes work, and so our guidance counselors have been doing a great job along with Ms. Crawford and her group. So one update on NSEP 6. I visited with Nancy Greeley, she is our area supervisor, and as I mentioned before, NSEP 6, the accountability piece, they will look at 2 pieces. They will look at that performance, which is our test scores, college and career readiness, and placement, graduation rates, and things like that. But we also will do like a continuous improvement piece, and so that will consist of documentation, going through, not necessarily an interview, but an on-site visit. Ms. Greeley did share with me, right now there's 4 schools in Northwest Missouri that have been selected to go through that in the fall. I don't know if it's a blessing that we're not one of the 4, but she did share with me then the following year, Cameron is slated, year 1, to go through the continuous improvement review. So next year, we will spend time looking at that, those standards, and providing that documentation and gathering that documentation. The majority of that, as I mentioned before, will be based on our CSIP plan, our comprehensive school improvement plan, and just documenting our work with that. And so we will start work with that. Another thing, or another component, there is a piece under MSIP 5 and it's also under MSIP 6, and it was College Career Readiness Standards 1 through 3. Now MSIP 6 is now terming that Success Ready Performance. But it's the same criteria. So we offer the ACT, ASVAB. We can earn points from ACT Word Keys, the SAT, Compass, and AccuPlacer. Currently, we offer the ASVAB to all of our junior students, that's kind of the military assessment. And then we encourage all of our students to take the ACT test. But aside from that, our kids do not have opportunities to take those other assessments that would earn us points towards that accreditation or towards that Success Ready Performance criteria. Ms. Henry, she's our high school guidance counselor, actually filled out application to be able to administer the work keys. And so we will be able to add that to our list of assessments that we can offer, which would potentially then earn us more points. As I mentioned, the ASVAB kind of takes care of those military kiddos. The ACT, of course, takes care of our college bound. This would help, I think, with our students that are work related, maybe going into vocational areas. And so, and I think the fact that Ms. Lacey will, or Ms. Henry will actually be administering the assessment, I think will be beneficial. I think that we may be able to earn some extra points for that. So looking forward to that. I appreciate Ms. Henry. She's done a lot of work in regards to that. And so, any questions?
Thank you.
All right.
Yep. You're up again.
So, we have quite a bit of celebration at the high school, so I just want, it's in your board report, but I just kind of want to highlight some of that stuff because I feel like those students and teachers need that recognition. Our DECA chapter has several students that qualified for internationals at Atlanta. They actually leave on Friday. So they kind of did their, I don't know if it's annual, but they did do their fundraiser where they sell the lunches to, to the different schools in the district and local businesses. So they sold 240 meals, which I think that's about 100 more than they typically do. So that raised $2,000 to help offset some of the costs for them to go to Atlanta to their international DECA competition. So I know that was pretty stressful for them, but they did a great job with that. Mr. Eckert's FBLA students won big time at state competition. We had 13 students compete at state, which is more than we've ever had, and 3 of them placed in the top 10. Michael Rader placed 9th in cybersecurity. Braden White placed 3rd in introduction to information technology, and Grant Garton was a state champion in help desk. So they are a national qualifier, so they're going to Chicago to compete in that competition. Switching to athletics, our 4x100 ladies relay team broke the school record last Tuesday night that I think Mr. Dickett said is like almost a 40-year-old record, and they broke that with a time of 52.71. Not being a track person, I guess that's pretty good. And it was like the day that it was 70-mile-an-hour winds, so I would imagine going one direction was really tough, and they made up time on the other. That was pretty awesome to see those ladies accomplish that. And then when we go to choir and band, we had 17 choir students that received outstanding ratings, and 2 students received exemplary ratings at district contests. So Libby Anderson and Dayton Wilson are going to state choir competition. And then band had 19 students receive exemplary ratings. So they'll be competing at state. And then we also had 16 students receive outstanding ratings, which is also very good. So we have a lot of good things going on with our students and our sponsors. So the other thing, we're trying something new this year. I've talked about it a little bit, but you know, we feel like our students need a reason to do well in their EOCs. You know, we don't get results back until the summer, so we wanted to encourage them, reward them for doing well on the EOCs. So we have come up with a program that makes that more immediate. So we've kind of come up with a 3-point system. So if they're at their testing location on time, ready to take the test, you know, this is a little subjective to the teacher, but if it looks like students are trying and taking their time on the test, they will get credit for that. And then if they do finish early and they're staying busy without distracting others, they'll get points for the day. We want to be able to provide them something at the end of the day, you know, a little reward. But if at the end of the testing, their names will go into a drawing for bigger prizes. And we've had several businesses and community members donating bigger things. So we have gift cards to Cameron Nutrition. We have Pizza Hut has donated several coupons for free pizzas. So we have a Fitbit. So they're donating lots of things for us to be able to turn around and give these kids as a thank you for trying on the EOC. So well, hopefully that you know, that has an impact on how they try on the test. Because I feel like if they put in the work on that, we'll see the results. And I mean, this is just in preparation for next year, but you know, I don't know if we focus on the negative behaviors, but we definitely want to encourage the positive behaviors at the high school. So we are looking at a PBIS reward system at the high school. Mr. Lanigan and I, we've kind of been talking about it, what it looks like to make it more streamlined. So we're looking at some possible electronic programs that will track that for us, so we can monitor the kind of behaviors that we want to see and that we can reward. So just some preparation for next year that I wanted to share some of our conversations that we've had.
Mr. Jones, could I ask an EOC question? Yep. And this may be Dr. Medford. Is there do we know why the tests don't didn't they used to come back and they could be factored into the kid's grade? And what happened? Did people just get slow, or?
The test window, I mean, the test window will close on the 13th, and so we will
There's
not
no
get
way
those results until the following week. It takes at least a week, so once we close the system. So we would have access to that, but kiddos would be gone. Recently, I wouldn't say recently, but when COVID struck, DESE kind of swayed us away from including those in any part of the grades.
Okay,
So,
I see.
yeah.
Do we have data that would show that when it used to factor into the grade, the kids scored higher than, or that with COVID, that throws it off? I'm
There's
sure.
just too many outliers.
Right,
Yeah, COVID
okay.
lies it off, throws it off in attendance rates, and they were quarantined, and they were isolated, and there's just too many factors, I think, probably to consider.
Missy talked to me and she asked me to challenge the board to make donations. And so, see me afterwards.
Yeah, she's
Challenge.
all over it.
While we're on that, she contacted me too. And I would challenge the board, all of us, to go into our community, find Sonic or Wendy's or somebody, and let's do what we can, maybe get a $25 gift card to those places. The money stays in town, and we give those gift cards to you, Mr. Jones.
Yeah, we've got a stash started collecting. I think it's important for our kids to know the community's behind it too.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just a school thing that we want them to do well because it makes the school look good, but you know, the community's behind them and want them, show off for the school.
I think if we can say, yeah, the board supports this,
Yeah.
and each individual board member contributed something, then that, if it's a gift card, it comes right back to town. So it supports our business too.
Dr. Wyckoff, here's a chance to do that root canal.
There you go.
I don't want the free.
Yeah, but I would encourage all of us to find something, get it to Mr. Jones, maybe you have, yeah, something that would make a good recognition for those students that are drawn from the pool to get a prize. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's close that. High school activities, you have a report before you. I hope you've read. Any questions on the activities report, anybody? None?
Kids have been busy.
Yeah.
Kids and sponsors
Yeah,
have been
you can
busy, I
see
should
that.
say, yeah. But there's almost everybody reported to this time, so that was nice to see.
Middle school then, Dr. Collins?
So I'm assuming that you read my board report because I'm gonna go rogue. Usually don't go rogue from the board report, but couple things to share with you regarding building discipline. Mr. Fisher is attending a restorative practice training, which is the new upcoming philosophy for addressing classroom management by doing restorative practices, restorative measures to do just interactive pieces to build student relationships and also to address student ownership of their behaviors. So he will be attending that this Thursday and Friday. So I am going rogue. I don't know if you saw the Facebook post today or anything, but we got Lighthouse status. If you were anywhere near my house on Monday afternoon when I got the phone call, you probably heard me screaming. My son was like, "What's wrong with you?" Just let me scream. So it was great. So I think that the Lighthouse review, which I'm going to dive into some details here, but I think it goes to show the support, and it supports all of the overall pieces that CVMS has done to grow and to become great. I mean, we're amazing. We're an amazing school. So our growth through our curriculum has helped support this. Our growth through the professional learning communities has helped support this. Our growth through standards reference grading and through the implementation of technology within the building has helped support this. I don't know if you noticed in the board report, but I have specific statistics from the measurable results survey. So if you're looking for any type of positive measurable growth, I would like to point out on the third page of the board report, our overall score has increased 4% in 1 year. Keep in mind, last year was COVID, and that was a hard year for everybody. So we've increased 4%. Our leadership has increased 6%. Our culture has increased 8%. I don't know anywhere that I have yet to see a business that can increase their building culture of 8% in 365 days. And technically, our school year is 181 days. So 8% in that amount of time is pretty dang impressive. And our academics, according to the measurable results survey, has maintained. I'm gonna dive into those same results, but I'm gonna read them directly from the report. So these are not my words. Like that information was straight data. I just skinnied it down for you and made it look nice and pretty. So I'm gonna go directly from the report and I'm gonna hit each one of those targeted areas. And I'm sorry, it's gonna be more than 2 or 3 minutes tonight, but this is a huge deal for our school. It's a huge deal for our community. This is a national recognition. This is a big deal. This is something huge, huge, huge to celebrate. So I'm gonna dive into leadership. So some of the areas of strength that we met every single category that we needed to for within the rubric for academics. Our areas of strength, there were a lot listed. I'm just gonna highlight 2 or 3 of them. One of them is that a system is in place to ensure that the principal and the Lighthouse coordinators are advocates of the school leadership model. The principal and the Lighthouse coordinators consistently support the full staff in understanding and modeling the 7 habits, core paradigms, and leadership capacity. The school has created a system for staff members to serve as mentors and accountability partners to one another and established a plan for meeting. So that was for staff. So now into student leadership. The school celebrates and recognizes application, higher order thinking, and internalization of highly effective practices of the 7 habits and core paradigms. The school has established a system for teachers to regularly share integrated approaches and collaborate continuously to improve 7 habit lessons. and students empowered to take ownership and make final decisions. I mean, like, there's a whole page of information, I'm just sharing the highlights. Okay, moving into culture. So, areas of strength, again, we hit every single one of those, and even in the social and emotional category, we hit sustaining, which is where we should be in 2 years from now, we should be sustaining. So we met the goal and already exceeded it. Yes. So some pieces there are physical spaces in classrooms and common areas clearly affect the influence of student voice, ideas, and creativity. Students and staff intentionally integrate social emotional development and learning throughout most parts of the school culture. The school has created an environment where all students and families feel welcomed, valued, loved, and trusted at the school. There is an empowering and supportive environment among staff members. So when we dive into that same category, talking about shared leadership, this incorporates the student aspect. Again, we met every single category in that expectation. The student lighthouse team meets regularly to accomplish school-wide goals. All or almost all students hold classroom and or school-wide leadership roles throughout the year. The school has developed systems to routinely seek out student voice and continuous improvement of the school. All students have created a personal mission statement and reviewed it regularly. So moving into academics, because the 3 core areas there are leadership, culture, and academics. So academics, we hit everything that we needed to for our rubric scoring there. So a couple celebrations, which this one was one of our, academics was the area that we had the most. There's like 3 pages worth of positive pieces here. So just reading a couple of them, the school has developed a system where all students create personal WIGs, which WIG stands for wildly important goals, in the written form of X to Y by when format. We call those SMART goals in education, if you are familiar with those. The team or class WIGs are consistently written in the form of from X to Y by when format. The school reviews annual data to collaboratively establish school-wide WIGs. When we talk about empowering our learners, so that addresses student leadership portfolios, student-led conferences, and empowering instruction. This is where we had a slew of positive pieces here. Leadership portfolios are aligned to the school's highest leadership and curricular priorities. Students own and take pride of their leadership portfolios. Students showed pride when sharing leadership portfolios during student-led conferences. All or almost all students lead reflective conversations about progress towards leadership, academic, and or personal goals with family mentor, adult mentors, or peers. A lot of times that comes through student-led conferences. The school has created a system to support families unable to attend in-person student-led conferences. Many staff members use the 7 habits to build trusting relationships with students. And then I really want to hit this measurable results section. So I'm sorry I'm taking up so much time, but this is too good not to share. So in the measurable results piece, in every single aspect, they had positive things to say. So I'm just going to read it word for word. Evidence of leadership results. There is evidence that the school has experienced strong growth in leadership as demonstrated by this school has seen a reduction in behavior referrals and all students have leadership roles within the building. Evidence of culture results. There is evidence that the school has experienced strong growth in culture as demonstrated by the MRA score has increased for culture and has increased and then held steady during COVID. The principal reports increased attendance for teachers and families involvement during this time. And then finally, evidence of academic results. There is evidence that the school has experienced a strong growth in academics as demonstrated by this school has performed above state average in math, science, and language arts, meaning they were referencing our MAP test scores. It doesn't say MAP test scores in here, but I think it's important that you understand that context. But then this was the one that I was like, oh my gosh, you didn't even look this up. They looked this up on their own. Cameron Veteran Middle School has risen from the 62nd percentile in 2018 to the 75th percentile in 2001 as compared to other Missouri middle schools in statewide academic testing according to schooldigger.com. So we rose 13 percentiles since 2018. If that's not positive measurable growth, People, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, this is amazing stuff that's happening here. So I have contacted them to get information about a press release. So Jimmy, as soon as I get that information, I'll be getting it to you. So they're pretty specific on the information and how they want it posted and shared. So I haven't heard anything back from them today, but I did request information from their contact this morning. You guys have any questions?
First of all, congratulations to everyone.
We should dance. We should all get up and dance party.
I've watched your feet.
I know, I can't see some.
Is it possible for us to get a copy of that?
I can ask.
Okay.
I don't know if this information is permitted to go
Okay.
out into they're pretty particular, like even access to their website, you have to be an employee of the school to be able to have access to their resources.
Okay.
So I can ask them if this is
Just
something
any of
that's.
the survey results and stuff, I mean, if it's so positive, I'm.
Yeah, I put the MRA results here in the board report. That's,
Right.
these percentages are
Right.
straight from the MRA, which came from student, parents, and staff voice. It was sent out to
Okay.
parents in the beginning of March, like right around conferences, and then students and staff at the end of March.
So that's the same stuff as that was, that you were sharing with us?
This information encompasses,
Okay.
this information here is from the MRA, from the Measurable Results Assessment, which is a survey, it's a perception survey. It's created and written by Franklin Covey.
Got it.
This is the Lighthouse review information, that's what I was
Okay.
reading directly from, and
Okay.
this was generated by our 2 reviewers.
Okay.
They had 1 to 2 weeks to go through and complete their paperwork, and then they sent it to Utah. And then the Utah people aren't listed on this document, but then they had to go through and they had to be the official people, and so they took all of the data that we created through our evidence binder and all of the information that our 2 reviewers submitted, and they didn't contact us at all whatsoever. They didn't contact the reviewers, it was just straight, they
them.
did their information based off of the rubric and this
impressive.
stuff,
And you're impressed.
so.
Well, if they do let you share that, I would love to have it to, you know,
Good
just
stuff.
refer to, yeah.
I have a question about the MRI.
Yeah.
You said it's students, staff, and families. Does it split out? Can you see like the difference between the two? Are these like aggregated numbers or were there?
The information that's in the report is the overall pieces. So they have gone through and redone all of their stuff. So when we started our journey in this, this is driving me crazy. When we started this journey several years ago, they had a different MRA. So we took that for a couple years, I think it was 2 or 3 years. And then last year, you had the option of joining the pilot. And I opted to join because I figured I'd rather be the guinea pig and figure out what's coming our way. And then, so that way this year, we could compare our MRA results to last year. So anything that's before last year, we can't compare. We can compare this year to last year. So when you say, can you pull things out and see results? Yes, I can, but it looks very different than the forms of what I have looked at, what I've been looking at for the past 2 or 3 years. So it's and it even looks a little bit different than what it did last year, because last year was the pilot, they've made their changes, and so now their reports look a little bit different. It's more broken out along other lines of like the different categories within leadership, culture, and academics. So it's more broken out into like there's 2 categories within leadership, then 2 categories within culture, and 2 categories within leadership, or within academics, and then it will break down additional statistics. So it's not so much of, this is what parents, this is what students, which is what the other one did. I'm sure this one could if I'm guessing that I could ask and see if I could look at those types of results, but I am not familiar with that report to be able to say this is what that said.
Yeah,
without pulling
I'd
it
just
up.
be curious to see if they are the same perception, because they're 3 very different groups of people doing the evaluation, so.
But still, all of our results increased, and even the one that said that it was sustained, clearly there's growth. I mean, they identified it here, so.
Dr. Collins, what is your vision for this going forward? I mean, this is a huge
Right, so
thing.
that's a great
going
question.
forward, how does that
So
inform?
how this works going forward is that the next piece after this would be considered sustaining, and that review takes place in 2 years if we stick with the program. So we have to continue to pay our dues, which is a yearly cost, and we have to continue to implement the program. And clearly, if we want to be sustaining, we have to be able to show measurable growth, which we're on the right track for that. So we have feedback, we have to set our goals, and then in 2 years, if we're still paying for these resources, then, we go through a review again. Then if we go through that review and are sustaining, then we go through a review every 4 years, as long as we pay our yearly dues. So it goes 2 years, and then 4 years, and then 4 years, and then 4 years, and then 4 years.
Will the resources that are available going forward,
Those continue when you pay.
right, will they continue to be updated, or, I mean, they continue to
They
update
do
what
all
they
that.
offer, yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Congratulations again.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
fantastic.
Be sure you tell the kiddos and the staff.
Is there a plan
congratulations.
for a big celebration, or?
I bought all the staff, Sonic drinks today, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the initial celebration. I not quite made money, couldn't buy it for all the kids, but I bought it for all the staff. So I have contacted our food service lady. I'm hoping to do either a cookie party or a cupcake party at lunch one day. We're with our kiddos. I haven't nailed down the thing yet, so if you're watching on Facebook, it might change.
Sorry, I'm not trying to nail you down, I just.
No, there is an opportunity for a celebration there. So, and I've already had a couple different people contact me and say that, oh, hey, this is exciting, how can we help? So, more to come.
Yeah. Great.
Anything else?
So back in the fall, we started the process on our leadership team of having just discussion over our building vision. Had a lot of new staff that it was just so lengthy and wordy. We wanted something that was simple to say. We took a lot of the feedback we got last April that we did with the district CSIP team and kind of modeled the same process, but really about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago exactly, it was right before we left for COVID, the leadership team discussed, hey, we have new building administrators, we have one grade level that half of them are new, why don't we get this process started now? Well, COVID hit, we went home. Last year we were just trying to survive. And so we thought, we introduced it in the fall, started having discussions with our leadership team, and then began actually holding staff meetings in February. Staff members breaking off into groups. So we had 2 staff meetings, and then taking the feedback from those meetings with our leadership team, kind of went through, created 2 different rough drafts, took it back to the staff, got their feedback and input. And so what we came up with is, you can see in my board report, it says that at CIS, we build relationships and offer support to create successful learning experiences for all. So easy to say, it kind of models what the district vision is, and it's ours and we own it. So we surveyed the staff and just basically asked, can you own this vision and support it? And 100% said yes. So we're excited about that moving forward. And then actually Mrs. Leeper notified Mrs. Sedgwick and I at the end of the day today, we have 12 students. I talked last month about the different pieces of artwork that were displayed at the Capitol. I think it was last month. But we have 12 students who have items displayed. They're framed, and they're at DESE's office, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. So I look forward to acknowledging those students next month at the Dragon Excellence, along with the kiddos that had stuff at the Capitol. So kudos to Miss Leeper and her crew. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I wanted to start off by celebrating some different things we have going on at Crokeview. First off, our culture survey that we administered at the end of March. I linked there for you. I hope you're able to take a look at that. I'm huge on seeking feedback from our staff, and we were encouraged by Dr. Medford to have a culture survey in each of our buildings, so it was enjoyable for me to put ourselves out there and seek that feedback, and we were thrilled with the results. My goal before COVID, I can remember saying January of 2020, I thought, man, I just don't know if I could enjoy my job anymore. Everything is going so great. And then everything happened. So my goal was to just make sure that we didn't lose that we could get through to the other end and still have that positive culture. And this felt like a huge win for us. to be able to put that out there and to feel that our staff was still in a really good place and happy with how things were going. So, you know, to have every single question come out above the 4.0 was big. There's obviously things that we can continue to work on. We're gonna reach out and with our leadership team, work with our staff on determining how we can continue to grow, but on our scoring rubric, if you looked at that, if you fall in that category of rarefied air, the thing that they really encourage you to do is not become stagnant and to celebrate and to encourage, you know, other buildings or districts and tell your story, and that's what we plan to do, is just celebrate where we're at and continue to try to be better. So, also wanted to give a shout out to our superintendents and Felicia Lim for helping us get the new touchscreen Chromebooks. They are amazing. Our kids absolutely love them. It's such a game changer for our building. I know Ashley's here, she can probably attest to that as well, but the kids they just love them. And teachers who weren't able to get them are like, when am I gonna get mine? So I'll probably be looking at that soon. We've also been looking at parent involvement and how we can encourage our parents to be more active and kind of resume a bit more normalcy in that area. We had our first field trip last Thursday. Our second graders had never been on a field trip before, so this was a huge outing. They were able to go to the Remington Nature Center in St. Joseph and Bodie Ice Arena, and I didn't get to go. Mr. Lanigan, who's now dubbed Polar Bear right here on skates, had a really good time, saw lots of pictures and videos. I know we've got some parents here that were able to go, so just appreciate that opportunity to take the kids. We have first grade and kindergarten scheduled to go to the zoo next month, and we're looking forward to that too.
I particularly enjoyed watching them try to push him in a chair.
Well, to be fair, I pushed like 40 of them. I was very impressed with how well I could still skate.
So other than that, we're gearing up for our NWEA testing. Ours is a little bit later than everybody else's because our scope and sequence is stretched out later into the year without us doing standardized testing. So we're ready to go. Excited for that.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Quick question about your culture survey.
Sure.
Were they anonymous? Was it
Yeah.
like facilitated through some
Completely
platform? Where they were
anonymous.
anonymous? Okay.
And thank you for your transparency on
Yes.
that.
Yep.
The board.
Thank you.
That's probably.
So we finished our preschool screenings for the year. We did a total of 122 preschool screenings. We screened 108 preschool age students. So we had 14 that we actually brought in a couple times for re-screenings, whether the student didn't want to perform, retire, different things. But 122 preschool age screenings. So that's ages 2.7 to 5 years old. So it's quite a bit. Another celebration is one of our teachers at Parkview, Joy Durbin, and her husband welcomed their first baby. So I know I mentioned last month that we had another baby, so we just, special ed department just keeps kicking up. Just keep celebrating that. We also celebrated on April 6th, Paraprofessional Day at each school, so huge kudos to our paraprofessionals in the district. As many of you know, the district would not run efficiently without them, so we are super thankful for them. The other thing I wanted to mention was that our Special Olympics track meet was scheduled for tomorrow. That has been rescheduled because of the weather. So that is now slated for the 27th. So same plan as before, we will still have our buddies. We're working that out because we do have map testing going on, but we're gonna work that out with parents and with the buildings and figure out how we can still get most of the buddies to attend. But kiddos, the athletes will still get to have their time. That cannot be moved inside because Lathrop has school, and so they don't have any place to put us indoors. So, and then the last thing I wanted to mention is that we are currently working with the maintenance department as well as CIS on looking at getting a kitchen area in one of the classrooms for our life skills classrooms. Right now, high school is being renovated, so we're using the middle school fax room. There's about a 42-minute window that our kiddos can use the fax room for cooking, laundry, that sort of thing, and unfortunately, that's not enough time to get start to finish with our kids and teaching them all of the steps. So we're looking forward to working on that over the summer and figuring out how we can make that space so that way CIS can still use it for a science lab. We're still using it for dragon designs for a t-shirt company, and then also have a kitchen and laundry area so our kids can truly learn life skills, practice those. Simple things as microwave, laundry, and then measuring, cooking, true life skills that they need. So we're excited that we're getting to do that. And then update you guys on Great Circle. They came in, gosh, I'm sure it's in here, March 29th. They have decided to use our building. They are actually going to be collaborating with another mental health department, and so instead of going out and purchasing a facility in the community right now, they want to wait until that collaboration is completed. So for at least next year, they will be using our building, this building, for classrooms. So 3 of the classrooms on this level are slated to have the students at Great Circle, and so we're excited that they will have a place and our kids won't have to be on the bus for so long. And not just our students, we have a few students that attend school there, but the surrounding community schools. Some students are coming, from Trenton or different places, and are on the bus for 2.5 hours a day. That's a long time. So we're excited that we have that opportunity, so thank you guys.
About how many students will be servicing through that?
14 to 16 will start. They have to have at least 14, and we have, we met with our local LACE, Leaders of Special Education in the area. We have promissory notes for 14. There's 2 more that are kind of on the verge. They're not sure what they're going to do. They could still send to Independence. It would be about the same, but they would also like to see it closer here. So 14 to 16 to start. We can't take too many more than that, just because they wouldn't have enough staff or space in our facility. They'll have about 8 in each classroom, and then they'll have a 3rd classroom for kind of just to calm down if somebody's upset or needs to be removed from other places. Therapy, if they have speech language, OTPT, they will come over and do it in another classroom. So that's why we have the 3 slated. So
You had mentioned there were some challenges with your heat press machine.
Yes.
I was just curious, have you done any research to see what one of those would cost?
we have, actually we presented that. I don't have it on me, but I gave some figures to Dr. Robinson the other day when we were looking at what we might be able to do for next year. But I don't remember now.
Did 3 models.
3 models on there. One had, they have different versions, but the one that we would like to get has a printer, so we would have to buy the vinyls, and then we could print our own, because right now we have to get designs online, or we actually work with Plattsburgh. They can design, come up with their own design and print it for us. So we'd like to have one that we could actually print ourselves. Like this year, the map shirts, I know CIS does the map shirts for all of the students and staff. We're not able to design our own. We can kind of come up with one through the online, but it's not always the same, and turnaround isn't always as fast right now. So if we had the ability to print, then we could really take off. So I put those numbers in there too. That has taken off. They've done a great job with the shirts, and everybody seems to like it. I know we keep telling Courtney, we're gonna make this shirt, we're gonna make this shirt. Now I think we have a shirt that we need to make for Mr. Lanigan, that polar bear. Any other questions?
Thank you.
We won't really do that.
And you have the maintenance and the technology reports there in your board packet. Any questions or comments on those? If not, then anything that's related to our agenda, if any citizens or teachers or students would like input, this is your opportunity. Okay, items for consideration. First thing on the list is resignations and retirements. You have a list there provided for you.
Motion to accept.
Second. Motion by Ann, second by Doug to accept the resignations and retirements. There's one retirement. Cheryl Drager is retiring from food service department, and the others are resignations from teaching or coaching positions. Is there any discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed no. The ayes have, the motion carries. You have before you a list of personnel to hire.
Move to hire. Second.
Moved by Ann, seconded by Pam to hire those that are recommended. Discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, no. The ayes have it, that motion carries. Substitutes, we have one substitute
Mhm.
this evening.
Motion to hire.
Moved by Jackie,
Second.
seconded by Andy. Did I get that right? Okay. Discussion? All in favor of the motion to hire the substitute recommended, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, that motion carries. Portrait bid. Dr. Robinson, talk to us about that for a minute.
Yeah, we put out our bid for portraits. We've been using Scholastic for quite a while. But bid came up, and so we went ahead and rebid that. We had 3, we sent it to quite a few, or as many local and around the state of Missouri. We have Wagner Portrait Group, which is out of St. Louis, but they are local here. They have a lot of schools. Interstate Studio, and then Scholastic Photo, who we actually use currently. So my recommendation at this point is to go ahead and go with Wagner for their portrait services.
Dr. Robinson, would they also do like the group pictures for your
Yes.
book? Okay.
Yeah, they will do all that.
Move to accept.
Second.
Moved by Ann, seconded by Pam to accept the bid from Wagner. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. That motion carries. Okay, notice of non-certified assignments. Any comments on that, Dr. Robinson?
No, you had the list in front of you. That should be all the non-certified staff. That includes secretaries, custodians, maintenance,
Paras.
food service, paras. And they're really it's really a contract. They just get a notice of assignment or a letter of intent that we would.
Move for certified salary schedule.
Move to approve the,
No.
Notice of
Zero
assignment.
notice of assignment.
Second.
okay, I was looking at, notice of assignments. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Stacy. Discussion. We'll use a show of hands vote. All in favor of the motion to approve notice of assignments, raise your hand. Those opposed, raise your hand. Those abstain, raise your hand. One abstention, motion carries 6-0. And then the non-certified salary schedule is presented.
Yep, that includes, I'll pull up here. That includes, all of our food service, our leads in our food service, paras, clerical, custodian leads and maintenance that we've got on there. We were able to do a 5% to the base of all those, and then with the 1% in between steps, it ends up being just 6.6% effectively. So
Move to approve the certified salary schedule.
Move to approve the classified salary schedule. Second?
Second.
Seconded by
Andy.
Andy. Discussion on that motion? Again, we'll vote by a show of hands. Those in favor of the non-certified salary schedule, raise your right hand. Those opposed, raise your hand. And those that abstain, motion carries 6-0. The reason we're doing that, folks, is because we don't want any nepotism. One of our board members or 2 may have family members that they would be voting on, and so that's why you show of hands, so that they can abstain. Certified salary schedule, you have that before you, Dr. Robinson?
yeah, well, I see a couple ladies here. I'm guessing they
I just came to show you my shirt.
yeah. But we were able to do some, I think, fairly good work on our salary schedule this year. We were able to get our bachelor's, our first step over 40,000, able to do a 5% increase on what we had before. That takes us to 40,225. So with steps and everything else, it's almost 6%. We did additional work as well between the bachelor's and the master's column, and then we also did some work from those people that have masters and have been with us or have experience with more than 10 years. We added some more money into that column as well. So
It's great to look on here and see 40s up, no 30s.
mhm.
That's a
I would
real
agree.
milestone.
I never like comparisons with other districts necessarily, But I like this comparison because I think this puts us above anybody in the conference.
For sure of that, and probably anywhere, south till we probably hit Liberty, so.
Okay.
I
We
think that's
appreciate
pretty
all
good,
the
'cause
work on
Excellent.
that.
that's with, $2.50 less on their tax levy, so, right here, so.
For the certified salary schedule.
Second.
Jackie moved and
Second.
Pam seconded to approve the certified salary schedule. Discussion.
I just wanna.
All in favor of that motion, raise your hand. And those opposed, raise your hand, and those that abstain, raise your hand. Motion carries 6-0. Let's see here. Counselor, speech pathologist salary schedule.
Yes, we're trying to recognize that our counselors and some of their degrees in speech pathologists take longer than a normal master's in administration or curriculum, so we have added a little bit more money into the master's column. Everything else is the same, but there at the master's column, it's $15 higher, $1,500 higher at the start of the master's column for speech pathologist and counseling. So,
Motion to approve.
Motion approved.
Moved by Doug.
Second.
Seconded by Ann. Discussion. All in favor of the motion, should be no conflict on this one, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Nurse salary schedule.
this is also new. We're just trying to make sure that we can accommodate all the different types of, or at least the majority of the nursing type situations we run into. So we've came up with salaries that we think will be competitive with others again, that recognize CNAs, LPNs, RN, and effectively a master's in nursing or a nurse practitioner. So this is again something new, but hopefully that we'll be able to recognize all of our people.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Jackie, seconded by Andy. Discussion. Those in favor of the nurse salary schedule, make it known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Administrative salary schedule.
Yeah, we started playing with this last year, and so we have an elementary, or we have a administrative salary schedule based on whether they're elementary assistant, middle school assistant, high school assistant, principals, in those different levels. And so, same thing as the teachers, we added 5% to the bases of those, and then we did right now it's 1.1, which is similar to what we've done in the past, and in between steps. So effectively a 6% raise for a year of experience and the 5% at the base.
Motion to approve?
Moved by Ann,
Second.
seconded by Stacy. Discussion on that. Those in favor of the motion for the administrative salary schedule, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion carries. We have our extra duty stipend.
Yeah, extra duty salary schedule, and one of the things I think we do to make sure we continue to stay competitive in all of our, whether activities, whether it be, sports or music or fine arts or whatever it might be, all the different clubs and organizations is, we base that off of our teachers' base, so at 40,225, and that percentage thereof on there. So, all of our extra duties also got our raise and as well. So.
Dr. Robinson, and that's all, folks. Sorry, I would ask that we revisit a couple of the factors, in particular related to high school instrumental music and the new duties that are appropriated there with a head director of bands and an assistant director of bands.
Okay. I think, high school instrumental and vocal music are the same, so. Do you have a recommendation?
I would recommend that those two positions, head instrumental and head vocal, be the same as a head varsity coach.
Okay.
Since it's a year-round extra duty.
Are you making that in form of motion to insert that?
Oh, well, I guess so.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not speaking very well right now, so yes, that is my motion.
Okay, second?
Second.
Seconded by Andy that we, the lead band teacher, is that what you're instructing?
Yes.
Okay, be a factor of 1.5 and the assistant be 1.425?
The same as it is, and then also the head vocal person.
Same way for vocal, okay, 1.5 for vocal, head vocal, and that's 1.425 for assistant.
Mhm. We don't have an assistant for vocals, so.
Okay.
Yep.
It is, it should begin.
Yeah.
Any discussion on that amendment to insert that into the schedule? Those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, that motion carries. I don't know if this is the appropriate place to put this, Dr. Robinson, but I think for at least this year, given the fact that we're opening a new fax room, we need a week, 2 weeks of time for that person to get set up. Is that?
Mr. Jones and I have already talked about for some of our other science, some of the people that might be having to move
Right.
classrooms, that we're gonna try to do some accommodations, give those teachers some extra days,
Okay.
if we need to, and pay those people based on their daily salaries, so.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, then, is there a motion to approve the extra duty salary schedule as amended? Yeah, so moved by Doug, seconded by Pam. Discussion? We'll vote by show of hands. Those in favor of the extra duty schedule, raise your hand. Those that oppose the extra duty schedule, and those that abstain. Motion carries 6-0. Extra duty assignments?
Yes, this is all of our coaching clubs, activities that we have, so.
Motion to approve. Moved by Doug,
Second.
seconded by Ann, to approve extra duty assignments. Discussion. All in favor of that motion, raise your hand. Those opposed, raise your hand, and those that abstain. Motion carries 6-0. And now the return to learning plan for April 22.
Yeah, and we'll probably stop putting this on the agenda every month now that, if you noticed on the return to learning plan, there's a lot of omissions and a lot of strike throughs, and with everything changing pretty quickly on this, we'll probably only start or continue to update this every 6 months. We were doing monthly, but we'll probably go to a 6-month cycle after this, and won't have on the agenda every time. We might do it before school and then again if we have to. But as you can see on there, we're starting to take almost everything back off, and so and I think in addition, just even us, I think even today they relaxed all transportation stuff, so airplanes and trains and subways and everything else are no longer masked, so.
Motion to approve. So moved by Doug, seconded by
Second.
Pam. Discussion. We're approving the learning plan for April. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it, the motion carries. Okay, we have a special presentation for the board member comments, although it's superintendent comment.
Yeah, well, we just want to be able to recognize Ms. Pam Ice for her advanced board member certification. I think we've always done a really nice job of our board going above and beyond and doing professional development, and so we just want to recognize Pam for that. It's one more step. We greatly appreciate it. Let's get a great picture. I like being in the paper a lot.
Comment that I have, reminder next week, the 28th, Thursday,
Yes, it is. It's Thursday.
is the MSBA Region 1 meeting in Stewartsville. What time are we gonna?
I believe that starts at 6 with registration, starts at 6:30, so we'll probably leave
No,
the
it
park.
starts at 5:30.
Starts at 5:30 with registration?
Registration 5:30 and meeting at 6.
Maybe at 6, okay.
I think.
Then I think we could probably leave here at 5:20 or so. We don't want to be the first people there. That looks weird. So I think if we leave the back parking lot, we'll just carpool, we'll figure out, but we'll meet at the back parking lot at 5:20 next Thursday.
As far as we know, everybody's plans to make that? Excellent, good. next week, then Thursday, we'll plan to meet in the back about 5:20 and leave.
I have a couple comments. I want to welcome the two new board members to the board. Look forward to serving with both of you. So I also, although they've already left, just want to publicly once again thank Michelle and Mary for their many years of service to the board. So it's been a joy to serve with both of them, and they've mentored me a lot, so I appreciate that. And then teacher appreciation is coming up, so
Yes, it is.
just make sure you pass
Couple weeks.
along our appreciation to you guys as well as our teachers. We've survived the year. I don't think any of us knew what it was gonna look like when we started once again, but we really should have a no mask party, right?
And everybody here,
A burning, I think it should be a burning, actually. should
we have a plan to do.
Whatever happens again, we got 30 boxes sitting in storage. So,
Do we have a plan to do, what normally?
we do have some staff gifts, and we'll be putting out information if the
Okay.
board wants to help pass some of those out, so, yeah. And we might have another opportunity too. We're doing some other things for the buildings, a couple days that Dr. Mefford and I might need some help on, so.
Yeah, I would be happy to
Yep.
help out as much.